All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Lagunitas Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Petaluma, California, and this is their born yesterday, the 2023 release. So they're calling this one a fresh hop ale that comes in at 7.2% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs, I think, and at the time of review, this bottle is just under 5 weeks old. So I think it's safe to say that everybody out there, myself included, are very happy that Lagunitas has decided to bring this one back this year. This is the first time they have released it since 2020, so the last 2 years they did not release it. I did review the 2019 release back in 2019, and that was my favorite version of this beer along with their 2016. I'm pretty sure I've had it almost every year since, I think they first released it in 2015, and I had it pretty much every year since then that they've released it. I did not have the 2020 though. So, but anyway, this is just their fresh wet hop. They used to call it pale ale. They just call it fresh hop ale. Now it says right on here, farm to brewery in under 24 hours. They have a little spiel here on the side that's pretty long. If you want to find out more about this beer, just go to Lagunitas' website. They have a whole spiel about the beer, and it's a really cool process how they get the hops so fresh. And yeah, anyway, the hop bill, the only place I found it was the badges on Untapped, and it said this year it was Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, and HBC-586. The first three hops they used in the 2019 release. So I'm not expecting this beer to be identical to 2019 or anything, but it's probably going to be in that same vein. Now, I reviewed that beer, I think it was like 3.5 weeks old, a little older here, just under 5 weeks old, but this didn't show up to like a week ago, week and a half ago, so it is what it is. Let's give it a pour here and see what we got going on. So, this has been hazy most years. I think 1 year it wasn't as hazy, but it's not like, crazy hazy, but it is definitely hazy to some degree, as you can see. On my camera, it's going to look darker than I'm seeing it, but this, again, and this is what I said about 2019. I went back and watched a little bit of that review, not the entire thing, but I did see the look of it, and on camera, it did have this like more of a dull orange color. I'm sure that's happening here. In person, hold up to light, bright orange, like a very bright, vibrant orange. Has a finger of an off-white, super creamy looking head. That looks absolutely beautiful. Has a nice, haze to it. I can kind of see the shadow of my hand through it, but definitely has a nice firm haze to it. Just looks beautiful in the glass. And let's get a nose here. Oh, man. So the first thing right off the bat, I can tell you the difference between this and the 2019. And I remember the 2019. The 2019 was super, super dank. This has more of that zippy, zesty, freshly squeezed citrus juice vibe. Orange juice in here, ruby red grapefruit. Yeah, huge citrus tones. There's a little bit of like a fleshy kind of like mango or peach in here. There is a little bit of dankness, but this has more of like a floral aspect to me, like a greenness that's not like your hop burn nowadays, but just like a green, like a hop matter kind of nose, like fresh green, kind of like walking through a forest, freshly cut grass, just being out in the nature, kind of like that kind of aroma. Has a little bit of like a bready kind of malt character, like a biscuity, just has that like nice, almost slightly grainy kind of malt character. Wow. Ooh. Yeah, I'm kind of blown away by the citrus character in here. It is very vibrant, very aromatic. It's like almost sharp, the actual citrus character, like very sharp on the nose, but in a good way. Yeah, it smells way different than the 2019, but it smells pretty fucking good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, hello, dankness. Hello, dankness, my old friend. Yeah, so the taste is a little bit more dank. This is really good, but I'll tell you right now, for me personally, it doesn't touch the 2019. I gave the 2019 a 4.6 out of 5. This is not in that realm. Still very fucking good. It's like a really good beer. I'm almost forgetting this is 7.2%. Kind of has the feeling, drinking it, not like characteristics wise, but like just like chuggability and just crushability, more of like in like a 5.5%, 6% range. So the body on this one, it's a little bit lighter. I'd say like lower side of medium, approaching medium, 7.2%, a bit thin. But again, I think that adds to the crushability factor of this one. Like it enhances it. If it's a little bit too heavy, you might not want to drink a lot of them. For me, it really helps out because it's almost light and refreshing despite being 7.2%. The mouthfeel. Again, this is an older school IPA with some new school influences, but this is not to be mistaken for a hazy IPA or like a New England style IPA. So the mouthfeel has a moderate carbonation. It's smooth on the palate, but it's not going to be super creamy or soft or anything, and I'm okay with that. So the mouthfeel is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and that's fine by me. The taste, everything I said about the citrus character definitely hits me on the palate. First thing that hits me though, a little bit of that bready, biscuity, grainy kind of malt character dives underneath the palate. Not really omnipresent, but it hits me right from the palate and just kind of then gets kind of washed away. But like waves of citrus hit me. Ruby red grapefruit, freshly squeezed orange juice, tangerine juice, maybe even dare I say Tangelo. I've never had Tangelo juice. Like I never like juiced Tangelos before, or Tangelos, however you want to say it. But kind of something akin to that. Then as it passes through, I get a little bit of that mango and peach, maybe a slight touch of like a honeydew melon, whispers of like a pineapple. But it's really mostly citrus for me. And then the second half of the palate, I get that dank, floral, fresh kind of greenness. And this one finishes with a mild to moderate bitterness, more approaching moderate. And it has a semi to full-on dry finish, more in like the semi-dry realm. This is more bitter than it is dry, but this is not too sweet. It's 7.2%. You really can't tell. Maybe a very slight warming into my chest, nothing much. But again, on the palate, it drinks so light that I kind of forgive the 7.2%. So this would be a great sessionable fresh hop, wet hop pale ale, or whatever you want to call it. They say fresh hop ale, that's fine. Really good. It's really fucking delicious. Here's the thing. I feel like this is an issue for me personally, but maybe some other beer tubers and people who review beer on YouTube. I always will compare it to like, prior releases. And in my mind, and then going back to watch some of that 2019 release, that beer was so dank, so intense, so over the top. And again, that was 3.5 weeks old. This is just under 5 weeks old. So we're talking a difference of maybe like 7 to 10 days. I just think that this beer is a little bit different, different harvests each year. Even though they're using a similar hop bill, it's still different in some ways. And, 2019 hops are not going to be the same as 2023 hops. And I guess I'm just stalling to say that I don't like this as much as the 2019 release, but I do still really enjoy this one. And when you take into account availability and price point and everything for something like this, I think that Lagunitas always deserves kudos on releasing this beer. Here's the thing, Lagunitas, listen, little ASMR, release this fucking thing every year. Okay? Every fucking year, release this beer. Everybody likes it. Every single year it gets released. Everyone's like, oh, it's that time of year again. Yes, it is. But the last 2 years it wasn't. So every year release this, please. Please, please. So yeah, rating on Born Yesterday 2023 release from Lagunitas. Absolutely no issues whatsoever, giving this we'll go low 4.25, I'll go 4.2 out of 5. I think that's a fair score for what I'm drinking. I dropped it almost a half point, 4.6 to 4.2 because it is what it is. Is a 4.2 out of 5 a very fucking good score? You bet your bottom dollar. Would I recommend drinking this one if you've had Born Yesterdays before, you like fresh/wet hopped beers? Yes, without question. I recommend this one. Again, ratings only matter to me in this scenario because I'm the one rating it. I'm sure you rate this whatever you rate it. For me, it's a 4.2 out of 5. Price point availability, $13.99 a 6-pack here in the Buffalo, New York area. Might be a little bit more expensive than where you are, but if you can get this anywhere between like $12 to $16 a 6-pack, like all day, every day. So $14 for a 6-pack for this, I'm fine with it. You're paying just over $2 for a bottle of something that's 7.2% fresh hops. As good as this, I gave it a 4.2 out of 5 all day, every day. It's Lagunitas. Usually get a good bang for buck. Maybe not so much as now as it used to be, like back in the day, getting like big bombers of their IPA and Imperial Stout for like $4.99 was fucking voodoo. So not touching those prices anymore, but still pretty good. And availability is Lagunitas. And Lagunitas is available in a lot of different states, a lot of different countries. I would say most of you should see this, but here's the thing. Let me tell you something about distro. At least what I'm starting to realize over the past year and a half. It's all fucked up. Distro's all fucked up. Some people can get year-round beers from certain breweries. They can only get seasonals, so on. And so they see everything from one brewery and almost nothing from another. I don't know anymore. But if you get Lagunitas, you probably should see this. And if you don't, I'm sorry. It is what it is. So anyway, if you've had this one before, especially this year's release, post in the comment section. If you've had any of the prior releases, what is your favorite? I still think in my mind, 2019, 2016, 1, 2. This will probably be round maybe 3 or 4. But again, this is not as good as I remember the 2019 release being, and that's okay. It's not always going to be like that, and I'm A-okay with that. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. You know what? I was going to read this. You know what? I don't want to make it's probably this review is probably like 11, 12 minutes long. I'm not going to review it. Like I said, or read the side of the label. If you want to know more about this one, go to Lagunitas website, and like I said, they have a whole page dedicated to this beer and talking about the whole process of the wet hops and everything. And I highly recommend you going to do so rather than me just reading it off the side of the label. So anyway, to the next one. Cheers.